Hey y'all, it's Nat. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, it shouldn't be too long. I just wanted to come and do a video really quick about some of the things that I've been listening to on audiobook. I am an avid audiobook listener. I used to be only paperback. I used to be just all physicals, whatever, hardcover, paperback, whatever. And then, then I graduated to Kindle. And I was heavily on Kindle, but then I started noticing how my eyes have gotten a little worse by reading on my Kindle. I don't know if that has affected anybody else, but it definitely has affected me. Yes, I use the dark mode and, change the warmth and all these things up there, but I personally have noticed that my eyes have gotten worse than reading on a Kindle. So to give myself a break, I started going to audiobooks a whole lot. I was very funny about audiobooks because I was very partial to certain narrators. But I have learned to get adapted and adjusted to the way a narrator sounds. I know everybody does not sound the same, so I just had to adjust my expectations and not have any, and just listen to the audiobook, and that's what I do. So, before we get started, again, welcome to my channel. I am Nat, and like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so one of the things I have been doing is a lot of the audiobooks I acquire is I try to make sure I acquire the audiobooks for books that I have read already. Especially I support my favorite authors to make sure that they get that sale. Okay, I'm a supporter. All right. And so my girl, AE Valdez, the King Brothers just came out on audiobook. And I just listened to, I actually just finished North King's book, but I finished Winter's book right before that. And so I just have to say, right? So I'm gonna hold this up. So look, Winter's Eve, right? So when I first read this book, which I was a part of the art team, where I actually was able to get an early copy of it and I read it. That was the last time I had read it before I got the audiobook, of course. And so I did like it. You know what I'm saying? It was a really great story. I love her writing, period. Hands down, I love her writing. I just was not a fan of Eve. I don't know why I was not a fan. I just was not a fan of Eve at all in her character. I thought she was very selfish, doing the things that was going on with Winter. Like, she just, like, it wasn't clicking. I don't know. She just stressed me out. Okay. She pissed me off and stressed me out. But as I was listening to this not long ago, I understand Eve now. And I know a lot of it has to do with, sometimes depending on where you are mentally when you're reading or listening to something, your level of understanding at that time, you just grasp things differently, or whatever mood you're in, right? But when I listened to this, honey, baby, I really understood how Eve was. I understood her pain. I understood Winter so much more as well. And I just truly, 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 truly enjoyed this book. Okay. One thing I'm going to always vouch for is therapy on page. And there was definitely a lot of good therapy on page in this book. Winter talks to Dr. Maddox, how you want to pronounce it. And there were a lot of great things that were said in this book, and I really appreciated it. I love me some therapy on page, honey. I do. And he is Winter M.F. King. Okay. Don't you ever forget it. My favorite line of the book. All right. And so lastly, my thick baby. Okay. My thick baby here, North King's Unexpected Inevitability. Let me tell you something. Okay. You see how thick this book is? You see this thicky? I love me a thick book. Okay. But that thick book gotta be written very well for me to tackle almost 800 pages. Okay. The last thick book I read like this was Demon's Dream. Demon's Dream was definitely an entertaining time, but I did not love Demon's Dream like everybody else. Go argue with your cousins and them. I don't care about that, but it was an entertaining time. Smoke was my guy. I like Smoke better than Damien, because I don't like to call him the other word. But anyway, we're not talking about that. Back to this. Okay. This is, oh my gosh, let me tell you something. I read the advanced copy of this as well. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. But let me tell you something. It's something about listening to the narrators bring the story to life. And Winston James and Lauren Nichols did an excellent job with bringing the story back to life. I can say back to life, but really back to life to me, because I had to go back and reread it again. So they brought it back to life to me to relive in my mind. I love this freaking book. Okay. The story, everything that transpired. I was telling a friend of mine, she hasn't read it yet, so I couldn't really dive into too many details. I don't want to spoil anything. But I did say there are several storylines in here, I think, like with, you got North and Aspen, you got North things he's dealing with, you got things that Aspen's dealing with, family dynamics, just a whole lot of things that's going on in this book. And I just love all of it. But one of the things were two. The first thing I do want to talk about though is the brotherhood between Snow, Winter, and North. Like, they are grown men, but they act like children when they're together. Like, they have a very strong brotherhood. And I love that she wrote this about three strong Black men. Okay. These three strong Black men, they had a great relationship with their father, and they had a great relationship with their mom. They have great relationships with each other. Okay. That is to be desired. And I am so glad that Mrs. Valdez put that in this book. Okay. The other thing that I just got goosebumps over is the friendship between North and Aspen. Okay. First of all, she does friends to lovers very well. Okay. All her books or whatever, the friend groups, the found family, all those things, she writes really well. But one of the things I can say though, is that out of all of the friend groups, even though Asen is my heart, I love me some Asen, y'all. I love me some Asen. But through all of the friend groups and all of the friends that we have, right? North and Aspen's relationship is totally different from everybody else's because they've known each other for so long. As far as, before they began their, relationship part of their journey. But you're able to see when they meet in the between time and when they actually decide to, go on that journey to actually be together. And it's just something amazing, right? It is just so amazing. It's amazing how North shows up for Aspen. It's amazing how Aspen is there for North. It's amazing how they know what each other needs when they need it. I can call you and you can call me and we can say what we need to get each other to going. Like, it's just amazing how she wrote these two people. And it's amazing how she wrote this story. If you have not read it, I advise you to go and pick up this book. Matter of fact, pick up all of them. I left the other one across the room, but pick up these. Look how thick they are. They're some thick babies, and they are so good. Now, Snow's book is not as thick as these. His is actually relatively small, but Snow, I love Snow. Snow is so, I don't know. He's so, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word for Snow right now. Anyway, I love all of these brothers. Also, something else I mentioned to a friend of mine too, we were talking about, we're kind of tired of the billionaire trope, right? Where people tend to write a lot of billionaire romances. Everybody's a billionaire. Everybody got all this money. Everybody's driving all these fancy cars. Everybody's doing all of these things, but a lot of them don't have like a sense of humility at all. Like, a lot of them just have this attitude. Winter was very arrogant in everything. Like, he tell you, yeah, I got a lot of money. I got all these cars. I like to show off, da, 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 da. But at the heart of Winter, he was very caring. He was very humble in the things as well. Like, he was a butthole because he wanted to be, not because he was. You know what I'm saying? And so that makes a difference with how she wrote her billionaires compared to what a lot of other people write their billionaires. Even Kyrell, in what was his book called? Oh my gosh, why I forgot the name of his book. Colliding with Fate. Even in Colliding with Fate, Kyrell definitely had a lot of money, but he did not act like it. He was very friendly. He was just very giving. Like, he was just fun. Like, Kyrell was very, very humble. He was just who he was. You know what I'm saying? Money just didn't make a difference for him. Asher had a lot of money. Asher didn't act that way. I mean, Asher was kind of like, he reminded me of Winter a little bit, where, he kind of arrogant a little bit. He looked good. He got money. He could do these things. But, at the heart of him, he was very, very caring, very giving or what have you. That is just who they were, right? Very humble. You can read a lot of other billionaire romances. And to me, a lot of their billionaires don't really seem kind of humble. You get tired of reading about them. They just all these things. But I really love her spin on the billionaire romance, the billionaires, period, the family dynamics. I just really love the way that her take, I just love her take, period. So anyway, that's all for today, y'all. That's all I have. What am I reading right now? I don't know. I'm kind of in a weird space right now with reading. I'm looking for something very exciting, something to pull me in. I just got finished reading Dope Fiend by Donald Goins, and honey, let me tell you something. Once you read something like that, you really have to be careful what you read after that, because the way that writing was done is something totally different than a lot of people are writing today. And I did read a Cheryl Lister book. I was reading, I didn't finish it, I paused it. I needed something fluffy, something nice, and I did get that. However, my mood shifted. And so since my mood shifted and I needed something a little bit more like exciting, because the Cheryl List book I'm reading was kind of like a slow burn, so it was kind of slow, and I needed something a little bit more fast paced. So I paused that because I love Cheryl Lister's writing, honey. Cheryl Lister can write her little butt off, okay? Yes, she can. And I'm excited to see her at Black Romance Book Fest. I missed her in 25, but I am determined to see her in 26, okay? But anyways, I gotta find something else. I might have to just end up reading a historical fiction. Yeah, I might have to do that. Anyway, well, anyway, until next time.